Hello everybody, it's Bourbon Bill, and tonight, a very special episode. We're doing an ADHD whiskey style blind tasting. Big shout out to a long-time supporter of the channel, O'Sheen Hayes, for putting this together for me and emailing my wife the answers. So I don't know. We're going to go through 5 different samples tonight and answer some questions he prepared in advance. May look like an idiot, may not. We don't know. Stay tuned to find out. Look at this. Provided in an envelope. Handwritten. Well, not handwritten, it's typed. But I will be going along here. I'll read these out to you. And I'll be, so, sample number 1. Poured up right here. It's medium darkness. Let's read the instructions. You will need a pen or pencil. We got a marker, because we always break the rules here on Bourbon Bill. You must answer all nosing questions of the sample prior to tasting. Dang it. There are a total of 50 points available, 10 points per sample, 5 for nosing and 5 for tasting. So, I know math is not everyone's strong suit that watches this channel, but keep that in your minds. Some questions will be worth more points than others, depending on the sample. And it says enough effing rules. Have a warm-up pour. We already did that. Try and complete with half-ounce pours. So, roughly a half ounce. I don't measure anything on this channel. Alright, sample number 1. Let's get into it with no further ado. Nosing questions, because we have to do those first. Name the type of whiskey. There's 4 options. Bourbon, rye, American, or world. I assume world's for all the crap that no one really wants to drink, like scotch or, Japanese. I don't know, something like that. Bourbon, rye, American, or world. Let's give it a nosing. Well, you know what? Before I give you some notes, we'll just read the other questions here. Is it finished? Yes or no is question 2. Question 3. How old is this whiskey? So we're looking for age, finish yes or no, and if it's a bourbon, rye, American, or world. That's all we're going to get nosing here. Sample 1.
Are you stuck? Are you sick?
God damn, that smells good. You know what that smells like? A bourbon. Alright, I'm getting loads of caramel oak, vanilla. It's feeling mid-proofy on this. Doesn't smell... I'm not getting any hints of leather, so I don't think it's particularly super old, but no youth notes either, so it's not young. So we're talking about like probably a 10-year-old here. I don't think that's finished at all. It just got traditional bourbon flavors that are amped up. Oh man, this is tough. I'm getting like a cola note. I'm getting some red fruits. Man, this smells wonderful. So, alright, for sample 1 for the nosing, we're going to go with bourbon. Finished? No. How old is this whiskey? I'm going to go with 10 years old. Alright, so now we're on to the tasting questions. The tasting questions are similar, but the tasting questions are, is this a bourbon, rye, American, or world? So we'll have to guess that again once we taste it. Question 2 is, name the state or country of distillation. So I'm going to guess U.S. because I think it's a bourbon. I wonder if that gets me any points. What is the proof on this whiskey is the last question. So, gosh, this smells good. Alright, let's give it a sip. Wow, this is fantastic. Whatever this is, if I don't own a bottle, I want a bottle badly. Well, proof's high. So we're going to go for, it's definitely still a bourbon. So that's question 1. Question 2, name the state. It's definitely a Kentucky. Proof now, though, could be challenging. Oh, man, this is top-notch stuff. It's like, this shit is fantastic. I'm going to go with 129 proof. I think it's high, but it drinks fantastic.
You got it right.
My wife now, she needs to come a little closer so you can hear her on camera, is going to come over and read the answers. Oh, no, you know what? There's no other answers. So what was it?
It was
What was it?
Lucky 7, the proprietor's...
Proprietor. Wow.
It's so little, look at that font. 14-year single barrel.
So it was a 14-year Lucky 7 proprietor.
Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Bourbon Street Wine and Spirits pick.
A Bourbon Street Wine and Spirits pick. So, we're doing pretty damn good here after sample 1. I'm just going to say. Alright. Let me pour up sample 2 and we'll be back with you for probably similar questions. Sample 2. Alright, sample 2 has slightly different questions, so I will read the nosing portion to you. Name the type of whiskey, bourbon, rye, American, or world. Question 2, name the state of or country of distillation. That's a nosing question this time around. 3, on the nose, is this 120 proof, above or below? Those are tough questions. Let's get to it. Give it a swirl for extra help. Son of a monkey, these are all fantastic. Oh, Sheen, you outdid yourself so far on sample 1 and sample 2. This is a bourbon. Right off the bat, we're going to go with bourbon. Let me give it a little deeper before we get to state or country. Shoot, this could be MGP. I think this is MGP, so I'm going to go with Indiana. 120 proof or below. Has a slight burn to the nostrils. But I'm going to go with below. That was quick and probably correct. Alright, on to the tasting questions. Is this a bourbon, rye, American, or world? Name the state or country. What is the proof? So, similar to the last tasting questions, let's give it a taste. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We screwed up the nosing portion. That's hot. Whew. But my God, is that delicious. Tons of leather, oak, caramel. Let me take one more of that just to lock it in. Oh, Papa knows what this is. Bourbon Bill here knows what this is. That's Jack Daniel's single barrel proof. So it's going to be a bourbon.
How'd you know?
I tasted it, Rita. It's going to be a bourbon, state, Tennessee, proof over 100. We're going to go 131 for proof. All right, wife, come closer to reveal the answers.
Oh, Jack Daniel's 2020 limited edition single barrel special, released Tennessee rye whiskey.
No! No, it was so good, but it was a rye. Damn it.
He's done you dirty.
Oh, Sheen, you did us bad. What was the proof?
Quit talking. You talk so fucking much. 133.4.
Damn. All right, so let's go through this. It was a rye, so no points there. 0.
Huge punch of vanilla, sweetness. A little bit of spearmint.
All right, I don't need the spearmint. All right.
You don't?
I said Indiana. That was false. On the nose, I said below. I got no points for the nosing. My nose, terrible. Tasting, though.
You sound awful.
Tasting, though, I said bourbon. It is not. It's a rye. No points. State of distillation, I said Tennessee. I do get a point for that. 1 point. Proof, I said 131. It was 133.4. So I get within 5 points, 3 points. So 4 points on sample 2. That was phenomenal. So I did not have the Jack Daniel's 2020 special release rye, barrel proof rye. But my God, that was good. That was better than sample 1, the proprietor. Wow. I'm a little sad I missed that one. The wife dragged me on vacation when that dropped here in Pennsylvania, and it would probably have been worth it to stay home. All right, let me get sample 3 geared up. Sample number 3. All right, so 3's questions here are: name the type of whiskey again for the nosing, bourbon, rye, American or world, finished yes or no, and then age on the nosing. So let's give it a nosing. Man, wow. The 3 for 3 have been fantastic. A pluses, both of them. That second sample though, that Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye, A++. If you see that for $300 or under, you buy it. You're an idiot if you don't. I think this is a rye though. Oh man. It's not American or world, I will say that. Ooh. This is a rye, I think, on the nose. Whether it's finished or not, I don't know, and ages on ryes are hard to come by. So let's... Oh, it's definitely a rye. Man, oh man. I'm going to say not finished, but I might regret that. Age... There's no youth notes on this at all. None. I'm going to say 6 years. Alright, that concludes the nosing. Tasting. Question number 1 is this finished, yes or no? So apparently we don't care if it's a rye bourbon or not. Question number 2, and name the distillery. Name the distillery or country of distillation. Question number 3 is proof. So let's give this a taste. Wow, that's good. That is definitely a rye, though that's not a question. I think I screwed up. It is finished. I'm going to say finished, yes. Country of distillation, I'm going to guess Kentucky, because ryes are harder. I'm going to guess Kentucky. Proof. She's up there. But the rye spice could be throwing me off. Let me take one more sip. That's one of the best rye whiskeys I've ever had. I'm going to say 127 on the proof. Alright, and that is it. My wife will now reveal the answers.
Well, to start, I thought you were supposed to smell it.
I did that.
But then you changed your answer after you tried it.
But I wrote down no, and I wrote down yes when I tried it.
But I thought you couldn't change your answer after you tried it.
No, the questions are separate.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
Okay, so the first question is?
I said it was a rye. Was it a rye?
No.
It's not a rye.
It's not a rye.
What? What is it?
It's a Hirsch 6-year single barrel Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. So you're fired.
Oh my god, I said that was a rye. It was a Hirsch single barrel 6-year Kentucky whiskey. So we did get some points though. I said it was a rye. You know what?
It's 13% rye.
That's low rye. Doesn't mean...
Yeah.
Alright, you know what though? Hirsch is filling from Willet, and Willet is garbage generally, although this was delicious. So, Willet has that like dill pickle note, which I didn't necessarily get that, but I thought it was a rye. It really came across a little grassy. Boy, that was fantastic. I thought that was a rye. So 0 points for that. I said, is it finished? Yes. I said no initially, so it's not finished, right?
No.
Well, I did get a point for that. I said, how old? It's 6 years. You said it was 7, right?
No. Oh, yeah, age 7 years, 9 months.
7 years and 9 months, aged. Okay, so I got 3 points for that. Then upon tasting it, I thought it was finished, which was incorrect, so that's 0. I said Kentucky. That did get a point for that. Then I said proof. What was the proof on that, Rita?
138.1.
Oh, shoot, I'm 10 points off. No, I only got 1 point for that. I was 11. Oh man, I should have guessed one more. It was 138. I said 127. Had I guessed 128, I would have got 2 points for that.
Oh my gosh, Bill. Always just trying to justify yourself. You did that. It's okay.
Did better than that than the last one. All right, let me get up for sample number 4. Sample number 4. All right, so the questions for sample number 4 are: type of whiskey, bourbon, rye, American, or world? What is the proof on the nose? And how old is this whiskey? That's our nosing questions. Let's give it a swirl and get to it. Oh, I've had this before. Dang it. Oh, that smells delicious. Oshin, you outdid yourself on these samples. These are all A++ hitters. I would buy any one of these bottles, and so should you. Alright, it's a bourbon on the nose. Proof. It's high. These are not low. I'm going to say 125. Bourbon, 125 proof. How old? It's like caramel and oak. I'm not getting any leather though. Confectioner, sugar, cherry. I'm gonna guess 11 years, just to hedge my bets. Alright, on to the tasting questions. The tasting questions for sample 4 are: type of whiskey, bourbon, rye, American, or world? State or country of distillation. Then number 3 is: what is the proof of this whiskey? So, let's give it a swirl and get to tasting. Wow, that is delicious. Definitely a bourbon. State, Kentucky. Has nothing weird to it. Proof, though, is fairly high. I'm going to guess in the 130s. First off, delicious. Caramels. Tons of caramels. I'm getting red fruits. Hint of banana? Which makes me believe this might be Old Forester barrel strength bourbon. Very caramel and very sweet. I'm going to guess 131 on the proof. I think it's Old Forester barrel strength. Alright, I've gone through all the questions. Wife, sample number 4. May I have the answers, please? So far, sample 2 has been really good, and this one's probably right up there with sample 2. But let's see what it is. What was number 4?
Alright, what did you think it was again?
I said Old Forester barrel strength.
Yeah, you're still way off.
What is it?
Lucky 7, the proprietor's 14 single barrel.
That was number 1.
That's right, he could do your anyways, right? Yes, but it's a different barrel.
Oh, alright. So, bourbon's correct, 1 point. What's the proof, Rita? Wait, how was it? You said 14 year.
14 year.
2 points for that. Bourbon, 1 point. Is Kentucky. What was the proof?
134.5.
Hell yeah, 3 points. Alright, we did really well on that one. Another lucky 14 proprietor coming in at 134 point something proof. So we got that fairly correct. It is from Kentucky. It is 14 years old, I guess 11 on the nose, but I guess 131 on the tasting was 134. Pretty dang close. So we're doing pretty well here so far. Moving on to sample 5. Sample number 5. Alright, so as per the previous 4 samples, there is a nosing and tasting section. In the nosing it is: what type of whiskey? Bourbon, rye, American, or world? Finish. This one's finished, yes or no. How old is this whiskey is the third tasting note. Or third nosing note, sorry. Let's give it a nosing. Another good dark one. He has not been pouring bad stuff. Uh-oh. I detect a hint of youth on this one. He laid off. Looks like he let off the gas pedal here on the good stuff for sample 5. I don't know if it's a rye or a bourbon, though. This is close. It could be either one. Shoot. Without being able to taste it, it's hard. I'm going with finished no, though. I don't think it's finished. Age, I'm going to go with 6. I don't know if it's a bourbon or a rye, though. It's very bready. Smells like a sourdough baked loaf right out of the oven. With caramel and like Expo marker. I don't know. I'm going to go with young bourbon. I'm going to go with a bourbon. Alright, tasting is what type? Bourbon, rye, American, or world? State of distillation and how old. That's what we're doing for tasting here. So let's gear up for the tasting. Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. It tastes like dirt. Oh, Sheen, you really wrecked us on the end here. That tastes like dirt. Tastes like fresh topsoil and like basil. Oh, that's terrible. I would not recommend this one, whatever it is. Unfortunately, I have to take another sip. Oh, God. Tastes like a basil plant. I'm gonna go with like 4 years old because it's not very good. State of distillation, no clue. Kentucky, we'll say Kentucky. Most stuff's from Kentucky.
If anyone wonders if you're an amateur, this will prove it. This video.
Type of whiskey, I'm gonna say it's rye, but you know what? No, that's a world. That's a Scotch. That's why it tastes like dog shit. That's a Scotch. World. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna change that. I think about that now more. That is like a Scotch, and it's horrible. So I'm gonna say that country is Scotland. Age though, probably a lot higher. I'm gonna say like a 12 year. All right, wife, please give us the answers to this horrible number 5. I mean, you took us downhill. It was like that's how quickly we went downhill. Let's say number 5.
We're going to start with the professional's tasting notes. Huge amounts of fleshy red fruits, like raspberry, black
Fleshy red fruits. I got dirt and basil.
Over a rich, milky, and creamy dark chocolate with light toasted French oak on the finish. Now, that doesn't sound damn
I didn't get any of that.
That's yeah.
What is it?
The finish goes on for days, and the sherry influence.
Oh, it's I screwed this one up bad. What is it?
Real bad.
This
It's
is
embarrassing.
What is it?
It is the Irishman limited release single cask single malt 17-year triple distilled product of Ireland. It's Walsh whiskey, Carlow, Ireland.
Well, okay.
You did terrible.
This is Bourbon Bill. We don't like Scotch here, this channel, but this was apparently an Irish single malt. 17-year-old. What was it called?
It was distilled in 2003.
Wow, it's
This is
old.
probably some expensive shit.
It's 17 years old and it is garbage. I would not recommend you buy this. However, I like bourbon and I do not like Irish or Scotch whiskey. So, to be fair, there you go.
So yeah, because it sounds like this is an exceptional, he's giving this a glowing
So
review.
this is finished.
I don't know.
It said sherry. It's finished in sherry.
Well, it's a cask type. It's sherry.
Oh, it's finished. Okay. So, how old is this? 17 year. I got no points on the nose.
It was distilled in 2003.
Alright, so I did say world. I get 1 point for that. I did say Scotland, but I said Irish, right?
Completely different.
Completely different. I got 0 points for that. I did say I upped it to 12 year then, so I'm within 5 years. I get 2 points for that. 17 year. So listen, if that's for you, that's for you. It's not for me. It tastes like topsoil and like basil. Let me add up my points here and see how well we did. Alright, after immense calculations, Bourbon Bill here scored 30 out of 50. Not bad. More than 50%. So there you go. Most of the time, more than half. I get it right on this channel. So if you like what you saw tonight, please like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great evening, everybody.